Good Sunday afternoon. I want to continue with my Cancer, My Journey, episode 2. Today is a beautiful day in Houston, sunny. We had a cold front come through. It's really awesome. And when I last left my video, it ended on Tuesday of last week, telling you that I would be having on Wednesday, the 15th, the liver biopsy, which I did. And I want to talk about that experience and a few other things. And thank you again for watching. And I'll repeat again, if you have any questions, you can now comment. I was able to figure that out. Took me a while on YouTube. I'll be happy to reach back to you and give you any information that you're asking for. And if I can't, maybe I can direct you to someone that can. So I arrived at MD Anderson with my husband Wednesday morning the 15th at 10. They prepped me, took me back right away, prepped me, laid in there all by myself for about an hour. And finally 2 male nurses came in, very kind, very thoughtful, very sweet, and took me into the area for the procedure. And basically what happens is they do a CAT scan to determine the exact location of where they want to take out or remove a part of that liver for the biopsy. So I would go, in and out of the machine, and the doctor came in and told me that they wouldn't be putting me, I had asked, are you going to put me to sleep? Oh no, they're not going to put me to sleep. I thought that was not my understanding. She said, no worries, we give you fentanyl and you will be so relaxed, you won't know. But you'll be able to talk to us if we need to ask you questions or redirect your body. So you must be awake for this. I said, okay. So they got me all hooked up, gave me the fentanyl. She said, I'm going to determine exactly what area I'm going to, or location of your liver that I'm going to take those biopsies. She ended up taking 8 biopsies of the same area. And I believe it was my large lobe. You have 2 lobes. Because I asked her if she was going to do it in the same area. She said yes. So they started that. And she first injected lidocaine to deaden the area. She said it would sting and probably burn as it was going in, but after that I wouldn't feel anything, which it was all true. It stung, it burned, and after that I never felt anything. Then she did a diagram, wrote on my body the area through the imaging that she could see, and there was a TV like right next to me here that I kind of see, and I kind of glance over at what she was looking at. I know nothing about radiology, and it doesn't look like anything to me, on film. But so then she marked that area and then cleaned it real good. Kind of put, like, I know you've seen, if you've ever watched like medical shows, or even I love Animal Planet or Dr. Pol, where they kind of leave the area that they're going to go in uncovered, and then cover the surrounding area and tape it down, and that's what she did. And I asked her, I kept talking the whole time, and finally she said, I know you want to know what's going on. I know you want me to tell you everything. And she said, right now, I need you to stop talking and be real still. I will explain everything to you at the end and even show you everything. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. This whole procedure lasted about 45 minutes. And she did the first, what I call like an injection. And the instrument after all this that she showed me was a huge syringe-like thing. And the needle, though, was very, very tiny and long. And I would say the needle looked about like that, and the needle had like little, I would say, gauges or something on it, so that as she expressed it into my skin, and I would hear a popping sound every time it came out, that it would go in and remove parts of that liver. And it was really interesting. So went through that entire process, and then she says, we're finished. And she brought me over the instrument for me to look at. I was like, wow. I mean, it was impressive. And to see all those little spikes. Think of it this way: a needle like this, and has all these little spikes going down like this. So if it went into my liver, and when they pulled it out of my liver, it was bringing tissue with it. And then she brought over the jar, about this big of a glass jar with fluid. And all I could see in there was, it looked like to me, skinny red worms floating in the water. And I went, oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. So anyway, finished that up. She patched me up, and I found out later, I didn't know this, but I thought she was writing something on after she patched me up. And I asked my husband when I got home, I said, did she write something on there? And I guess they write when they did it, who did it, and what they did. I don't know. There was some verbiage on there that the date was the only thing that I knew. Anyway, I guess because you can have some complications after this. And then they took me back to recovery. And I went into recovery, and you have to remain there for 3 hours for observation. And they put me in this room, and it was a huge glass door, and there was like you see in many, like an IC unit where the main station of the nurses is in the center, and then all surround are rooms. And then they closed the curtain in front. And so they did that and got me all hooked up so they could monitor my vitals and all that. And there was a TV up in the left corner. And after just a few minutes, my nurse came in, and she said her name was Mary Ann. And I said, nice to meet you. And she said, showed me where the button was in case I needed her. And she said, could I turn the TV on for you? And I said, sure. The TV was like on CNN or something I never watched, but I think it was really just I really wanted to watch HGTV, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, so I started feeling very lonely. And this part's a little raw. I remember looking up at the ceiling and feeling very scared and alone. And I started crying. And I remember one of my sister-in-laws telling me, just start saying Hail Marys, Marie, when you feel like you need help. I did. There were 6 vent holes at the top of the ceiling in that room. And I started counting each Hail Mary through one vent hole over and over and over. But crying too. Just tears rolling down my face. I wasn't crying loud enough for anyone to hear me. And then Mary Ann rolled back in. And she came over and she said, are you in pain? I said, well, I'm in a little pain, yes. And when I really looked at her, you know how the nurses wear that badge that hangs down with their name on it and I guess what area they're in? Well, hers happened to be flipped over, and she had the Sacred Heart of Jesus on her badge, which, if you're not Catholic, basically, it's a picture of Jesus Christ, and right in the center, it's his red heart. Was just bursting, with energy. I said, Mary Ann, are you Catholic? She said, yes, I am. I said, well, so am I. And that was about all. And she said, are you sure you're okay? I said, no, not really. Just what's wrong? I said, I'm scared and I feel very alone. Now, this was about an hour and a half into my 3-hour stint. And she said, your husband's here waiting, right? I said, yes. What's his name? Richard. She said, I'm going to go get him. I said, Marianne. I said, please, the rules are that I'm to remain in here by myself to protect everybody. I don't want you to get in trouble. I can do this. She immediately turned around and out the door she went. Praise the Lord. And within minutes, Richard had come back in. He took the chair, scooted as close as he could to the side of the bed, held my arm, and, you know, everything was okay. And he found HGTV. So the next hour and 45 minutes, we watched HGTV. My mouth was really dry because I hadn't had anything to eat or drink since the night before. So she told me she couldn't give me anything till after 3 hours. So once the 3 hours were up, she came in. She said I was able to go. She would put in the release papers. She said, I'm going to give you a few peanut butter crackers and some juice to eat. And your husband can help you get dressed. Here are all your clothes. And we'll have someone come up shortly with a wheelchair. I said, fine. So we were all ready to go, sitting on the bed, just waiting. And I guess it was just really busy because the wheelchair guy wasn't coming and I wanted to go home. And Marianne came back by again and said, you haven't been picked up yet? And we said, no. I said, look, there's wheelchairs right there. Can my husband just take me downstairs? She said, no, let me get the proper wheelchair. So she got it, put me in it. Richard took me downstairs, and we had valeted, so he didn't have to go get the car. So he took me downstairs, you know, got the car very quickly, and we left there about 3:15. So I'd been there from 10 a.m. to 3:15. And I wanted to go home, and I wanted to eat something nourishing, which we did. I had made some 13-bean chili with turkey meat. And so we got home, ate a little bit of that. She said I could go back to my normal diet. I really didn't have a lot of pain. I could tell something definitely had been done there. I took a tramadol, and I was okay. The night was hard to sleep in. I couldn't find a comfortable position. I usually sleep on my left. This was done on my right side. If you didn't know, your liver is right underneath your rib cage and your lungs on the right side, and that's where it was, and the patch was. And so if I slept on my left side, it seemed like it just put heaviness on that area. So I slept on my back most of the night, and I used a heating pad, which helped. And so that was Wednesday. And then Thursday was okay. I had a pretty good day. Didn't do much. She told me to really just take it easy the next day. Don't do much. Relax. And I did. And I was sitting outside here like I am now, watching my husband work in the garden and my two dogs barking like they did in the first video. Apology for that. I didn't think about that first video. But anyway, I love my dogs. Anyway, so all of a sudden my iPhone lights up and it's MD Anderson. And the only time they have called me at MD Anderson on the phone is for information, bad or good. Usually you get everything goes through my chart, and I get a text on my phone and it says, please go to my chart for an update. And I answered the phone. This is Marie. And she said, Marie, this is Dr. my internist. And at first I thought, oh no, something must be bad. I mean, they told me 3 to 5 days for my biopsy. I said, doctor, they told me 3 to 5 days. It was just yesterday. Are you sure what you're about to tell me is right? She said, yes, Marie, I'm sure. The two tumors in your liver is the same cancer as in your ileum. the neuroendocrine tumors. And for some reason, I thought, that's good. Because, believe it or not, I was told prior to that I had good possibility that I had 2 primaries, that my liver and the tumor I have in my lung, my left lung, could be a totally different cancer, and that's what they suspected. So this was actually a blessing to know that the tumors in my liver was the same as my ileum, which is a rare but slow growing cancer, and they have treatment. And I said to her, point blank, because she's been really point blank with me, is this better? Is this good news? She said, yes, it is. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Anyway, she said the next thing would be a scan on my chest. It's called a dotatate. I hope I'm saying that right. PET scan. And that she had already put the order out for that, and I should be receiving a MyChart update. And that she had already ordered me to the GI oncology department that specializes in this form of cancer. There's 3 GI physicians that only work with this type of cancer, wherever it is, whether it's your lungs, your pancreas, liver, stomach, wherever. And I was glad to hear that. And she said it would probably be in January, early January, before I would receive that appointment because of the holidays. I said, okay, that's good news. And so, I had failed to mention that I had called my husband over to hear it. And so we both sat here together and listened. And it truly was a blessing. So the next day, which was Saturday, it was Friday, I received a chart message, an update on my chart, that they already scheduled the dotatate PET scan, and it would be set up for next Wednesday, December the 22nd at 10:30 in the morning. And I wasn't allowed to eat anything, but they want you and encourage you to drink lots of fluid up until the time of the scan. Like, I guess up until 10:30, I am to drink as much water as possible. That's the only, just straight water. No sodas, no juices, no flavored seltzers, nothing, just water to fill your body full of water. Because this particular scan that I'm going to have done, 30 minutes prior to it being injected in your body, it's mixed up and it's radioactive material with a tracer in it. So as it goes into your body, it determines, and this is the only, my understanding, this is the only kind of equipment or machine or scan that detects my type of tumor. And so it's imperative that you're on time, you're there a little before, you're prepared for this. They mix up the mixture and get your arm ready for injection and do the CAT scan, or the PET scan, excuse me. And I don't know if they're just going to do my chest because that's the one they want to know about right now, or all my body. I didn't ask that question, but episode 3, I'll tell you. Anyway, so that is also super exciting that she has moved so quickly. And I was told by others that I had spoken to that have gone through the process with MD Anderson that they move. They don't sit around. They waste no time. And here we are in the holidays. Next Saturday is Christmas. So anyway, I was pretty happy about it. And anyway, so that was, I'm trying to get my day straight. That was Friday, and I had a good day. No, I'm going to go back on to Friday. So I had placed an order for some powdered supplements that I had used in the past to help with my diarrhea. 2 powders. They're for your GI tract. One is to help with the diarrhea, and the other is to try to remove toxins from your gut. And they've actually helped me along my journey from time to time to use them. And I was completely out of one and almost out of the other, so I reordered them through a kind of like a nutritional store. And I had received one, but hadn't received the other. I had placed the order for over 2 weeks ago, so when I was still having diarrhea. I will tell you today is day number 10. 10, no diarrhea. I'm so happy. And so anyway, I thought, you know what? I've received one of these products and I haven't received the other one. I'm going to call them and see if I can stop the other one and return the one that I received, because it was a couple $100s for this product. But if it helped me, and it's helped me before, it was worth it. This time, it wasn't really helping me too much, but I think we know the reason for that now. So I called, and a really sweet girl answers the phone. Her name was Jessica. And I told her, Jessica, I have received one of the products, and this is my order number. And she says, well, let me look it up. And she did. And she said, the other one is coming. We just don't have it shipped yet. And I said, well, I'm calling you because on October the 29th, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I have it in more than one place. And my physician has asked me to stop all supplements, anything that I was doing, just stop all that treatment, like that. Just eat healthy as you can and go from there. And I said, is there any way I can get that stopped and I could get a return of my money? And she said, absolutely. She said, what I'll do is I'll send you an email with your return label to send the one that you received, and I'll stop the other one. And as soon as I receive the one that you mail back, I'll credit your credit card for that one. I said, great. She said, could I ask you what kind of cancer you had? And I told her, and we talked, and she said, well, I want to tell you about something. She said, last year, my 4-year-old daughter, who is 5 now, had brain cancer. I'm a single mom, and I went through a lot. Today, my daughter is so healthy and has no signs of cancer. And she said, the only thing that got me through that was my family, my friends, and lots of prayers. And we didn't get into, what type of prayers. That wasn't important to me. But I said, look, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I've done, and I think you should go back and do it. I've gone on YouTube to journey what I'm going through. And I did a video on YouTube. I said, you should do that. And you should talk about the experience with your child and how you felt and what you went through. It could benefit another parent that may be going through the exact same thing, or in the future, someone that does, that you know. Writing your memories down now are going to be more realistic and more real because they're present. And a year is not that far gone. And I know you can go and do that. And she said, so you did that? And I said, yes. She said, what's your channel? I said, it's Riri Costello, capital R-I-R-I Costello. And it's Cancer, My Journey. And we're still talking, and she all of a sudden goes, I've already got it up on my screen. I can't wait to watch it. I said, aren't you at work? She said, yes, but I'm working at home. Ever since COVID, we've been working at home to take orders and all of that. And I said, okay. I said, look, we've taken up enough of your time. I appreciate everything you've done for me. She said, well, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel, and I want to hear your journey. And I said, okay. So anyway, that's what happened Friday afternoon. Saturday, I would say I had a pretty good day. I'm tired a lot though, and I think that's just part of the journey. And the other thing, I guess I want to talk about is how important your diet is. Not just when you know you got cancer, but all the time. Because once you find out you have cancer, you know what cancer likes the most? Sugar. Sugar is your number one enemy. I cut all sugars out except for 2 natural sugars, stevia and monk fruit. I don't even use honey or maple syrup, which I know is a natural. I read that you need to use that as little, not very often. it's better to use monk fruit or stevia. So that's what I'm using. The other thing, before I was diagnosed on October the 29th, I would have a sugar craving in the evenings, like 7 to 8, 9, whatever. And I think I even told my sister-in-laws and my sister when we do our Zoom calls, which I failed to mention my sister Mary on the last video, who I love and adore. You might pray for her too. She has Parkinson's, and she's always got a smile on her face and brightness in her eyes and hope and trust in the Lord. So please, whoever's watching this, pray for everyone. Pray for everyone you know. There is never not enough prayers for all of us. Anyway, back to the sugar. So when I was diagnosed on October the 29th, I stopped sugar. I stopped cookies that I really loved. I stopped the nighttime candy that I had so many cravings for. The Sanders from Costco, or the dark chocolate with the caramel center and the salt around the edge. Since October the 29th, I haven't had any of that. None of it. In fact, I left my husband's candy because he might get real mad at me if I took his candy. But I used to love gummies, and they are nothing but high fructose corn syrup, the worst thing in the world you should be putting in your body. Here I was feeding my cancer. So what I did when he wasn't at home, I took 2 garbage bags and I went through our pantry, and anything boxed, I don't care if they were, I looked for everything in our pantry that had some form of sugar in it. Everything. If it didn't have stevia in it or monk fruit, it was going in the garbage. And I didn't take his though. And I had 2 bags, garbage bags, full of stuff I was throwing away. I believe in organic, so even when I'd be going to like Sprouts or Whole Foods, I would buy what I thought was plant-based cereals or, certain things that I thought were healthy for me. Read the ingredients on everything you buy. As someone once told me, shop on the exterior part of the store, never in the center. Everything in the center is packaged. And my dietitian from MD Anderson, who sent me a whole bunch of information to help control my diarrhea, which has certainly worked, as well as my sister-in-law Brenda, who told me to work on that brat diet. Anyway, said limit to about 1/4% of your food intake to your fruits, 50% to vegetables, and another 1/4% for your proteins, and no red meat. So I've been trying to get my protein from nuts. I made my own nut butter, which is so easy to do. I may have mentioned that before, but you can go online and figure it out. It's real easy. I'm eating a lot of salmon, wild caught salmon, chicken, just baked chicken, staying away from the grill that I love so much, but supposedly it's carcinogenic. And finding other ways to get my protein, although I only need 1/4% of my complete 100% for each meal. I'm writing down all my meals. She told me for me to gain weight, I have to really put in my body about 3,000 calories. And I'm still struggling to gain weight. I weighed again this morning 100.8 ounces. I had actually got up to 110. So, cancer takes a lot of things away from you. And you don't even know it. But I'm fighting back. I'm writing down everything that I eat, morning, noon, in between snacks and dinners, and writing it down. And I've got a journal. I made a medical journal that includes everything, and I write it down every day so that on the 29th of December, I have a visual interview with one of the dietitians. The one that called me on the phone just said she knew I had an appointment scheduled, but she just thought if any way she could help, she would send me some literature, which she did, and I greatly appreciated it, and all that was really good. Another thing I want to talk to you about is a video I watched on this book called The book is The Cancer Fighting Kitchen. And it was produced by University of Southern University California, San Francisco. And a dietitian and a nurse had funded it or got grants to do it because they said that when they saw people going in for their chemo, or, you know, like when I went in and she brought me those probably full of sugar crap, that crack cookies that I ate after my liver biopsy. She said, that is not what we should be feeding our patients. They are here because they have cancer. So they did this big promo to get grants so that they could provide at their cancer centers snacks during chemotherapy and all these things, bananas, apples, organic teas, things that are nuts, things that are nutritious, that I just thought was the greatest thing in the world. I'm going to try to reach out to the dietitian on the 29th and ask her if there's any program that she knows that they've tried to develop there at MD Anderson or something like it, because I didn't get any nuts, banana, or apple. I got those packaged peanut butter crackers, and yes, they are good, but they are full of sugar. So anyway, I will get back to you after my next procedure, which is next Wednesday, the 22nd. I don't know how many days thereafter, because I've had my up and down moments of feeling tired, and then sometimes if I talk too much, I start coughing a lot. So I tried really hard today not to talk too much so I could make this video. But the tumor in my lungs is in my left lung, left lung, up here, real close to my windpipe. So it's affecting my voice and this cough. So with all that saying, I'm going to end this video right now and just tell you one thing. Well, actually, I want to say two things. One, find an organization that you can give to. Donate at Christmas, if not any other time in your life. Donate $10, $5, $20, whatever you have, to an organization, like a cancer research or Parkinson or dementia. I could go on and on. You all know the many diseases that we have, and they all need help with research and science. And then my last one thing I want to say is sometimes the quieter you become, the more you can hear. I'm going to repeat that. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Well, with that saying, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope you have a beautiful day like I do here in Houston, Texas, with many blessings and thanks on where I am today and where my journey takes me. Bye.